You know, I see some cars up on San Fernando Hill. And I remember as a little boy growing up, we had a Datsun 120Y. It was an old Datsun 120Y. And my brother used to have to fix it every Saturday morning. So I would go with him and we would do the repairs. And that situation helped me to understand the principle of operation of how a car works. Now he has a new vehicle. It's compact, it's kind of complicated even, but I understand it's the same principle that was in the old. Hi, my name is Pastor Andy Phillip, and I'm from RevivalTime Assembly Church. And I want to address today misconception, and this misconception is that you don't need the Old Testament. I have a friend and we were speaking one day and he said, why do we even have the Old Testament in the Bible when we really are under the New Covenant? Well, just as in the case with the cars, you cannot really understand and appreciate the new unless you have the old. Let me give you an example. When man, Adam and Eve came into the earth, they sinned. They sinned and they themselves, they tried to get covering for themselves, which was really fig leaves. The God also at that time, he gave them coats of skin. He made coats of skin, covering. Because it's interesting that man cannot even cover his own self. And so over here in the New Testament, I see God giving us robes of righteousness. Robes of righteousness. So we see that they were covering the skin in the old. Now he gave us robes of righteousness. Even further in the Old Testament, he told Moses, he told him on the Day of Atonement, he will go and present a lamb to be slaughtered, to be a sacrifice for the sins of the people. And we understand that in the New Testament, Jesus is our sacrifice. So it is clear to see that even the Old Testament is needed so that I could have an appreciation for what is new. Jesus Christ came, and now I am now made, according to 2 Corinthians 5:21, the righteousness of God in Christ. Let's go a little deeper. Moses got specific rules and regulations in the old, that he should take the lamb on the Day of Atonement, he should slay the lamb, and he should sprinkle it on the stuff in the temple, and that would be for the high priest would make atonement or a covering, for the word atonement means covering, for himself and for the people. Now I see Jesus Christ coming in the New Testament. He came as a sacrifice for all people. And so he was now the lamb. He was now also the high priest. And so now I can be set free because he was a covering for us. So without the appreciation of the Old Testament, I would not even understand the New. And so there are so many misconceptions in our minds that we don't need to understand. Well, my friends, let me tell you, if you don't understand the old, the principle of the old, you would not be able to understand the principle of the new. And so when Jesus Christ came at that time, 2,000 years ago, and gave us the example that he set, and gave us the sacrifice, he himself was the sacrifice, we could take that sacrifice, understanding that we are now covered with robes of righteousness. Righteousness simply means being in right standing with God. Same way, just as in the Old Testament, man's ways, he tried to make fig leaves. The works of man could never give you right standing with God. Just as in the New, he said, for by grace are ye saved through faith, not of works, yet that any man should boast. So even though in the Old, he tried to make skins of fig leaves, in the New, he tried to do all sorts of things to be in right standing. But man cannot bring himself in right standing with God. It is only Christ that could do that for us. So my friends, the old was just to show an appreciation of the new. So we have so many misconceptions, and we'll go along answering some of your questions. We want to remind you, if you have any question, you can send your question to remy.tnt@gmail.com. That's remy.tnt rtatnt@gmail.com, and we will respond to you with something. Master Andy Philip, just wishing you a great time. Remember, you're on high tide.